On December 12th, 2021, I released a video chronicling the 2011 meltdown of actor Charlie Sheen, most known for his work in 80s movies like Wall Street and Platoon. But for me, I know him most from the sitcom 2.5 Men, arguably his most notable appearance to date. This video will always have a special place in my heart. It was my first ever full produced video essay, and it's a good way to show how much progress I made in terms of producing videos, especially when it comes to the video editing. Woof. There's a lot more story to that. I may make a video if I hit a milestone of some type, so subscribe if you want to hear that. Chilling aside, it's been nearly 3 years. Surely something's been going on in Mr. Tiger Blood, Mr. Winning's life. And yes, there has. Even some seriously promising stuff happening as far as a month or two after I published my video. But there's been some more development since then. So sit back, relax, and let's see where Charlie Sheen is today.
Household items. I'm by winning. And I was banging 7-gram rocks. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. I'm just winning. I blinked and I cured my brain. I have 1 speed, 1 gear, go. Yeah, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. Stop.
Just a few weeks after I posted my video, on New Year's Eve 2021, Charlie posted a picture of what appeared to be a script for an untitled project by Doug Ellin. Doug Ellin is most known for being the creator of the popular HBO series Entourage. Charlie's caption reading, "Happy New Year! 2022 is going to be a barn burner," signifying that Charlie was going to be a part of some type of television or movie project. Around a month later, he posts this picture to Instagram. Most notably Doug Ellin, his Platoon co-star, and Dr. Cox from Scrubs, John C. McGinley. A few days later, Doug Ellin would upload a video to Instagram showing a table read. And my god, you won't believe who's there.
I'm Harvey Guillen.
I'm Anna Ortiz.
I'm Charlie motherfucking Sheen.
Doug would post a few more behind-the-scenes pictures from this production, even once showing that Charlie's father Martin was going to be a part of it, alongside people like Kevin Dillon and Mark Cuban. Finally, on March 18th, 2022, it was officially announced as Ramble On, with Charlie being the main star of this. From what we knew then, it was supposed to be some sort of dramedy, and at this time it was still network shopping as the production was being funded by Doug himself. From then on, it would be teaser.
We're doing video. So
Me and Charlie are having the best
we got
hair
Breezy
days
and
ever.
Charlie. I'm going with my
Best
own
man.
hair, which is not as good as any of theirs, but producer Ted in the background. We got, I don't know what we got, but
After teaser, then nothing. For months, there was seemingly no updates, and as of 2024, the project's been shelved. Even though it had already completed production, and I believe even all episodes were edited and ready for release, that's honestly kind of a shame. Hopefully one of these days it gets leaked or released in some way, because from the way they were talking it up, it was on the same level as a show like Entourage, so who fucking knows, really? Charlie during this time was collaborating with a country artist named Tim Montana. Apparently they've been working together since 2019, even directing a music video of his. I didn't mention it in my previous video, but I believe I meant to. But you know Lil Pump, right? He put Charlie in one of his music videos about drugs and, well, see it for yourself. Yep, that's all you need to see. Content ID and all that fucking bullshit. The next thing I can think of that happened after the Ramble On shenanigans is when Elon Musk took over Twitter in late 2022. It eventually announced an $8 charge for people to continue having a blue checkmark if you already had one. Charlie tweeted at him asking if he could have a free one. And honestly, if there's one person who deserves a lifetime free checkmark on Twitter, it's him. He holds a world record for most Twitter followers in 24 hours. Editor confusing here. It is like 4 a.m. right now, and I am very behind to finish this video, but I actually screwed up here. Apparently, in 2015, Caitlyn Jenner actually broke that record by a fuck ton, as of course Twitter was a bit of a larger platform by 2015. It took her about 4 hours and 3 minutes from 0 to get to 1 million, where in 2011, it took about 24 hours to hit 900,000 to a million, give or so. Yeah, oops, but who fucking cares? Twitter in some way blew up in the early 2010s because of him. Then something else massive happened. Around the same time as this Twitter checkmark shit, Chuck Lorre, the creator of 2.5 Men, reached out to Charlie to settle things and get on good terms. If you remember from my video, Chuck was arguably the most affected by Charlie's actions, leading him to be harassed and doxxed on many occasions. It all started when Chuck was writing for his newest series for Max, Bookie, a series all about sports betting. Chuck and his co-creator, Nick Bakay, thought it'd be a fun idea to add an actual Hollywood star as themselves to play as a gambler. Chuck had the idea of casting Charlie, as he remembered the stories Charlie used to tell about his sports betting adventures. But the two hadn't spoken well over a decade, and like I said, they didn't exactly leave on the best of terms. Even saying that it took him a long time before he could rewatch reruns of 2.5 Men. Apparently, Charlie had been wanting to make up for a while, saying it was a nerve-wracking experience at first, but eventually they clicked once more, with Chuck saying that, quote, "I was nervous, but almost as soon as we started talking, I remembered. We were friends once." The two made up and Charlie was cast in Bookie. I haven't watched it yet. Reviews of it seem to be pretty good. The one clip I did see online was featuring Charlie and in particular Angus T. Jones, who played Jake on 2.5 Men. The scene itself is actually an homage to the pilot of 2.5 Men where Charlie's playing poker with Jake. These people who are with him in this scene are the same people from that scene in the pilot. And there hasn't been really any Charlie Sheen videos even after my video's release. There is two to note. One that came out in February of 2022. That is about 2.5 nice hours. And the other came out 3 months ago from writing about the finale to 2.5 Men. The first one I actually left a comment under, and no, I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'll get around to it. But right now, I know way too much about this man. I don't feel like getting another rehash of it. The other one was about the finale of 2.5 Men, saying the worst finale of all time. And I can't argue with the title. The finale was bad. Like, really bad. But not in the way I think this dude overanalyzes it to be. He claims that it's a big meta fuck you to the audience for being so stupid to watch the show, and I wholeheartedly disagree.
And it's at this point that the finale reveals what it actually is. It's a meta joke episode making fun of how bad 2.5 Men is, and how stupid you are for watching it. I've watched a lot of TV in my life, but I have never seen a show so openly hate the audience that made it.
I think the big issue people had with it is the fact Charlie didn't return for its finale, something people have been expecting since its announcement of a series finale. Instead, a piano gets dropped, then Chuck Lorre comes on screen and says,
"Winning,"
and gets a piano dropped on him. I don't think it was a giant middle finger to the audience. I think most of it was directed at Charlie, while the other half of the show was making fun of itself. It just seems like something a show like this would do. Now, it wasn't a great finale looking back, but I can understand some parts of why they would do that.
His stalker has been keeping Charlie in her basement for years, and as of this...
Wait, hang on just a goddamn second. Is that fucking GTA 3 music? I wonder who's used that before in their own Charlie Sheen video.
2.5 Men began airing on...
And at one point, Walden searches online to see if there's any information on Charlie's death, but all he finds is one weird rant against a former employer. I'm now gonna pull back for a second. Charlie Sheen's winning shit happened in February 2011. This finale aired 4 years after that in February 2015. Now, all of this happened a long time ago, so maybe you don't remember exactly how giant that difference is. Here's a short list of things that happened between those two dates. Chuck Lorre kept his grudge for that long. And he made it the problem of all of the viewers. The one people who do not deserve this. He burned every piece of goodwill the show had. He created the worst ending to a sitcom of all time. An ending that insulted the viewers' intelligence and pleased no one except the people who already disliked the show. It went against everything that made the original show work, just so Chuck Lorre could discuss things that happened outside of the show.
Meanwhile...
You can't fire me. I quit. Think you can replace me with some other guy? Go ahead. It won't be the same. You may think I'm losing, but I'm not. Anyway, you get the idea.
Later.
I'm trying to wake myself up from this dream. This is your dream? Standing in the kitchen trying to wet yourself? You should be fighting in the Vietnam War, or a Wall Street tycoon, or an assistant to a mayor, or at the very least a jingle writer living in Malibu.
The jingle writer thing sucks.
Flashback.
Charlie Sheen died and went to FX. Anger Management premieres June 28th, only on FX.
Okay, retard. 1, it's 2.5 Men. Get over yourself. What I'm trying to get at is, it's not a show that has always had the most serious, down-to-earth plot. As I said in my last video, Season 8 onward aren't my favorite, because it killed the plot of the original series. But for you to say that the finale talked down to the viewers, and paint an image that they hated the audience, and wanted to make Chuck Lorre and Charlie Sheen's problem everyone's, that was already done in 2011. I don't think people realize how big this blow-up was. It was fucking everywhere, mostly immortalized on the internet. Chuck Lorre's name was pushed out further because of Charlie saying shit like he was a leech, a maggot, and wished him pain. It reminds me when the Angry Beavers, that old Nickelodeon show from the 90s, were supposed to have a finale of sorts where the actors broke character and started having like this crisis of sorts where they eventually start referring to each other by the actor's name. It's meta humor, which most of the time is really fucking cringe and dumb, but something I could care less about. In this finale, it does work.
We need you to find him. This guy has some serious rage issues.
Has he tried anger management?
Yeah, but it didn't work.
Again, I don't like the finale. I don't know how many more times I can say it. But yeah, this video sucks fucking cock, and it's just downright bad. I wonder what the comments say. Oh, for fuck's sake. What about his Twitter? Yep. H-Bomber guy. No wonder it sucks. The guy has the writing mannerisms of fucking H-Bomber guy. You know, I think Charlie says it best.
I have no interest in their retarded opinions. I really don't.
Fuck this. Alright, what else has been happening? Oh, Jon Cryer. Yeah, let's talk about him for a sec. Now let's get out of here. Jon Cryer, after 2.5 Men, didn't really take much work besides the odd guest appearance. It makes sense, he just did a sitcom for over a decade. That was until 2019, when he appeared as Lex Luthor in the CW series Supergirl. He appeared in other DC shows as Lex Luthor, and honestly, yeah, it fits him. But in 2023, he was given a role he couldn't refuse. A role in a primetime sitcom for NBC. This would eventually be Extended Family. Oh, this show sucks. It lasted a single season, and the pilot I did watch, I didn't even finish. It was so bad I clicked off. And I've watched Secret Diaries of Desmond Pfeiffer and Heil Honey I'm Home.
The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer. The P isn't silent.
The series was received poorly and obviously wasn't renewed. Before the show did air though, TV Line did an interview with the cast and had a question for Jon. And I'll let the interview play out.
We were talking a bit about sort of the surreal nature of him reuniting with Charlie and with Angus on that pilot. Inevitably, I asked, what are the chances of seeing Jon pop up, maybe even with Charlie? I'm curious sort of what your feeling is about that, because Chuck, you know, his response was, you know, from your mouth to God's ears, I'd love to see this happen. How would you feel about that prospect?
I have loved working with Chuck, and when I did, I was on Kaminsky Method, actually. His new show really does sound like fun. That being said, I haven't spoken with Charlie in 7 or some plus years, so I have no idea where he's at. So, you know, I don't close anything off. I loved working with those people when it was great. It was really great. You know, and I'm sad that it got super duper weird.
That is one way of putting it. Yes.
Yes, but we all, you know, everybody, I think, comes from a place of forgiveness, hopefully.
So Jon is seemingly hesitant but open to being on Bookie with Charlie, and Jesus, I should have known this show wasn't gonna last. Look at their expressions. But that gets all thrown out the window when in February of 2024, Jon Cryer was on The View and was asked about the potential of doing a reboot with Charlie on 2.5 Men, and once more, I'll let it play out.
I do have to ask about 2.5 Men. You spent 12 years on it, won 2 Emmys, your role with Alan Harper. Now, your then co-star Charlie Sheen was famously fired in 2011, and he'd had issues with the show's creator, but now they've reconnected. So I have to ask, does that mean there could be an opportunity for a reboot of 2.5 Men?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know how that happens. I mean, the thing is, Charlie is doing a lot better now, which is wonderful. Yeah. He and I have not spoken in a few years, but he's doing a lot better, which obviously I'm very happy about. No, you know, and obviously Chuck Lorre, who produced 2.5 Men, he's one of the most legendary producers in television, and one of the hardest things for him when 2.5 Men fell apart the way that it did was that he really felt he was friends with Charlie, and that he lost that was really heartbreaking for him. So that they have reconciled is really lovely. The thing for me is, when 2.5 Men was happening, Charlie was like the highest paid actor in television, probably ever. There has been nobody that has surpassed the enormous amount of money he was making, and yet he blew it up. So you kind of have to think, I love him. I wish him the best. I hope he should live in good health for the rest of his life. But I don't know if I want to get in business with him for any length of time. If it was a one-off or a, hey,
well,
great
listen,
to see
what
you.
if you were getting paid the same?
Yeah, there you go.
The show.
So John basically says he hasn't spoke to him in years. Last recorded time was sometime in 2015, according to his memoir, and he sounds very sure on never doing business with Charlie. His reason being he was the highest paid TV actor and he blew it all up. While I do understand his reasoning, John wasn't ever hugely messed with during the meltdown, at least compared to Chuck. He's talked about a few incidents of harassment by paparazzi in his memoir, but most of the cast and even the series creator have made up with him. Like I said, I understand the reasoning, but you took an offer to do a sitcom on NBC that blew fucking chunks. At this point, you have nothing to lose. What money did you fucking lose while working beside Charlie? Because the only people who were impacted finance-wise was Warner Brothers and CBS. Warner Brothers had to spend money fighting a lawsuit Charlie filed, and spend money trying to recast someone in a primetime sitcom. CBS most likely lost some money as they paid for the show from Warner Brothers and had to endure the meltdown scandals. While John does say in his memoir that the crew weren't getting paid while Chuck put the show on hiatus, and that was due to Charlie, and while that is fucked, you were highly paid as well. About $550,000 an episode from 2003 to 2015. After Ashton Kutcher came on, it became $620,000. While it's likely an inconvenience, you were still probably doing fine, but it is what it is. Unless John changes his mind or is convinced to do it, a 2.5 Men reboot isn't happening anytime soon. And while I'm generally against reboots, some shows do deserve a second chance at airing, even if they were already successful. These characters are written as real people. Stories can always be written, and while it is a lazy attempt at television, I believe a good mix of newly written shows and a reboot can be good, especially if towards at the end of the original run, it fucking sucked. 2.5 Men and Frasier are the biggest examples of that. Oh, and something I also forgot to mention in my last video, but I remember researching it, was that Charlie had started a weed cart company called Sheenius in 2018 to 2019. I don't know much about this type of shit, and that's kind of the reason it didn't go in the video in the first place. But also, I couldn't find anything anywhere that showed he'd sold any. The website linked on his main Twitter and Sheenius Twitter, sheenius.com, showed a parked website, but at least according to a few Redditors on the subreddit r/vape carts, said they were pretty shit outside the packaging, but these could be due to the fact of these were potentially manufactured in 2019, so they're so old and they can't function properly. But that's enough of me rambling about this man once more. By the way, thank you for the support on that original video. It's at about 200,000 views right now, and I couldn't be more prouder of it. Last thing though, Charlie Sheen. If you somehow seen this and watched to the very end, could you follow me back on Twitter, please? So yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Adonis blood, violent love, giving needed women caresses and hugs, childbirth, calling birth, till you reach his first.
Duh. Winning. I was banging 7-gram rocks. That's how I roll. Winning. I had 1 gear. Go. Epic. Winning. Are you bipolar? I'm bi. Winning. Went there. Went everywhere. I'm a total freaking rock star from Mars. Winning. Come on, bro. I got taco blood. Winning. You bottle my brain and be like, dude, can't handle it. Went there. Went everywhere.
We heard Charlie using and misrepresenting the words of witchcraft, and it annoyed us.